All right, so you guys hear me tell all these stories all the time on the Chronicles. A lot of those stories came from this town, Clifton, Virginia. I spent a lot of time in these alleyways running around when I was a kid, you know, acting a fool. And then when I got older, a lot of time in these alleyways just talking shit, you know, running around, drinking beer, drinking wine, talking trash. But I thought it'd be fun to come up here and actually record a few things in town. You know, it was a crazy place when I was a kid. A lot of drugs, a lot of violence, but also a great place and a warm place for me in a lot of ways. So, you know, I love it here, and I still come here a lot. And yeah, just thought I'd share a little bit with y'all. Hey, see this building over here? So that was my orthodontist when I was a kid. We were on every public program that there was at the time. So, you know, we got Medicaid, we got free lunch, we got WIC, we got food stamps, you name it, we got JCs, all that stuff. Once I realized that I could get braces for free. My teeth was pretty jacked up. You know, I delivered newspapers all through here. So sometimes my mom would schedule my orthodontist appointment on my route. So I roll my papers one day, and my neighbor comes up. He gives me a 40 ounce of Old English. I'm drinking Old English, putting it in my paper bag. Down here, I realize I got a doctor's appointment. So I go upstairs to the orthodontist. I'm 13, I think, 12 or 13. I go to the secretary, who's always been real cool with me. And I say, yo, excuse me, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna stick my bag underneath your counter so nobody fools with it. I got newspapers, I gotta finish my route. I don't really know how it happened. She told me later that she was like scooting her chair out and it knocked it over. Anyway, I go in, I have my appointment, I deal with the orthodontist, and then he's done, and he usually says, come on out to the secretary and he'll set your next appointment. This day he says, just wait right here and somebody will be back with you. So I'm sitting there for like 10, 15 minutes. I hear my mother's voice from behind me. What kind of animal brings a beer to his orthodontist appointment? I turned around, I was like, oh, fuck. And then she's standing there with like a 40 that's, you know, 2/3 of the way drank. She's like, are you drunk? I'm like, no, I ain't drunk. I'm just delivering papers. I think it's cold out there. And so I look at the secretary and I'm like, yo, I can't believe you sold me out like that. And my mom came out here and trashed the 40 in the alley. I finished my paper route, and that was that. So when I was a kid, this was the famous cafe. My mom used to wait tables here, and there was just like a one door in and out, nothing in the back. Pool tables back there, a lot of hand-to-hand drug exchanges, a lot of partying. It was famous for nothing. It was open for probably, you know, all the 80s and maybe till like 92, 93, and then it closed a little while and then it reopened. And when it reopened, I came down here one time with the girl I was dating when I lived in Harrisonburg. I hadn't been up there long, and me and her came down here. So we're in here chilling, me and my mom and my pop and this girl, and it's packed in here, smoky room, loud country music, just rough motherfuckers everywhere. And I see my Aunt Rosie over by the jukebox, and she's with her boyfriend Darren, who's a fucking scumbag. So she goes to light up a Virginia Slim, and Darren kind of takes the cigarette in his hand and kind of, he like rolls it up and kind of throws it on her a little bit. So I go, yo, Pop, Darren's over here fucking with Rosie. He goes, that ain't none of my business. So I walk over there and I go, yo, is there a problem over here? And Darren says, ain't gonna be a problem unless you make one, boy. And I was like, right then and there, I knew it was about to go down. So I kind of look over my shoulder at Pop just to make sure that he's on the same wavelength as me. When I turn my head over, this motherfucker smacked me in the head. So I come back around, pop Darren in his jaw, and when I go, like, he falls on the jukebox and kind of slides down. When I go to pick him up, the old man leapfrogs over me and jumps on Darren and just starts stomping him out. What's up, man?
We're all famous in here.
You fucking right. I was just telling my man about the famous. So anyway, old man stomping old dude out, and fights just break out in all directions. People fucking barking at everybody, throwing chairs and shit. My Uncle Harlan sees somebody go to swing on me. He hits him with a chair. That dude ducks, hits the bartender. It's getting crazy. They drag Darren out. He's out here screaming and hollering my name. Bring that motherfucker out here. Bring that boy out here. I'm gonna kill him. My mom says, don't go out there. I had to let that one ride. But so mom's like, don't go out there. If you go out there, you're going to jail. So I walk right out here, cop car sitting right here. It's a dude I went all through school with. He goes, Nick, what's going on? I said, this motherfucker, I pointed at Darren, he's covered in bloody footprints. He ain't got no fucking shirt on. He's screaming and hollering. I said, man, that dude's starting trouble. Dude said, all right, we got it. got my crew, hopped in the car, scooted up to the holler, man. That was it. Another night at the Famous. So when I was a kid, this was Press's Wholesale, and this was a hub for all kind of motherfuckers. It was, I don't know what the fuck, they don't do nothing in here now, but it was a convenience store, grocery store, movie rental, pool tables in the basement, a couple of video games, and at any given time, from the corner to about 3 blocks that way, there would be anywhere from 8 to 25, 30 people just walking back and forth from neighborhoods to the store back to their neighborhoods. Fights will break out here. A lot of people, you know, a lot of winos and drunks hung out here. We'd hang out here and chill and drink a beer, smoke a joint, whatever. All across the wall over at the First National Bank, people congregated, hung out. It was like round the clock all the time when I was a kid, people everywhere. But this was the hub, man. This was like the spot. My cousin Shane worked the register in here, and you know, it's just like something out of a movie, man. Just people coming and going all the fucking time. People of all ages, and everybody knew everybody. Sometimes everybody was cool, sometimes there was friction, sometimes there was problems, but it was a wild time in the early 90s out here on the street corner. It's fun. Right up here was it's the historic Masonic Theater, but when I was a kid, it was a movie theater. You know, I saw Gremlins here, I saw Back to the Future here, I saw probably one of the Star Wars movies here, all kind of stuff. But yeah, we used to come here, box office, get a ticket, go in here and watch a movie. But when my real dad had visitation with us, I just remember stepping out of his house. He had a 1-hitter and a 32 in his back pocket. He always kept a pistol, and he was always smoking weed. And I just remember, you know, it's about 4 blocks. We used to be walking down the street, old man hitting his fucking weed. I didn't know what it was. It was only one of them bullet ones, those aluminum bullet ones. You unscrew it, pack it, screw it back on. He was always walking fast in front of me. I could see that pistol just bulging out of his back pocket. He'd come bring us down here and fucking watch whatever, you know what I mean? Back to the Future. Anyway, this is a historic theater, and they've restored it, and it's stunning. It's a beautiful place. But when I was a kid, it was like, you know, Goonies movie posters and shit here. And you come here and buy your tickets. It was dope. So now we're gonna take a ride around Clifton Forge. I'm gonna show you a couple spots, the old APTs where we used to live when my parents got divorced. Show you a couple different cribs we had, and just, you know, a little bit of the town. There's stories to be told everywhere. And so we're gonna take a little ride and tell y'all some of that. This fella taking some pics. Take his pictures. Yeah, I like it. He looks away. Anyway, the first drive-by I ever heard about was Preston's right down here. My brother fell off this bridge one time, compound fractured his arm, bone sticking out right here. Fell down to the creek bottom. It was no good. So this second house on the left. This is the first house I ever lived in. Before this, we were living in apartments, and my grandparents bought that house and let us live in it. And I guess, I don't know, they paid rent or whatever, but that place, I love that house. I tried to get it, my granddad died, it just wasn't happening. Yo, check out this staircase right here, how dope this looks. It's like something from Middle Earth. How cool is that? I'm telling you, like, these are nice houses. Man, this town ain't always been this way. This town was bustling when I was a kid. We had a fucking Leggett's, which is Belk. We had a department store downtown. We had more than one. And there was a jewelry store and a fucking taxi cab and a dry cleaner and printer and newspaper printer and you name it, man. There was all kinds of businesses downtown. This is the house I grew up in. My mom's in there right now, probably. Old man did all that rock work and stuff. Back in the day, man, if someone come up this fucking road, my old man would hop on a 4-wheeler, jump in a pickup truck and come right the fuck up after him. What the fuck you doing up here? But every single day, man, you had to leave the holler and then be back at 6:30 for dinner. But you had to go every day. So we usually hop on a bike. Sometimes we walk, sometimes you take a skateboard. Obviously you couldn't really, there was a few patches at the time where you could skate for fucking 15 or 20 feet. But, you know, a lot of times you jump on a bike and hold your skateboard and just hit town. Man, when I first got my license, this kid, he still lives right there. He's about 600 pounds. He was, I got my car that day, got my license, got my insurance. It took me a long time to get all that shit. My parents wouldn't help me. I'm coming up the road in this 85 Pontiac Grand Am, and this little kid, probably 6 or 7, he's standing right here on the road taking a shit. I mean, just he's filthy from head to toe, pants around his ankles, shitting. And I known him my whole life. And I pull up to him. And I mean, it was hot as a motherfucker that day. And I pulled that car right up to his face. His face is just covered in filth, and he's sweating. He's grunting like a motherfucker trying to take a shit. And I fucking lay on that fucking horn hard as a motherfucker. And that kid opens his eyes, and he looks at me in the face, and he goes, just throws his middle finger up. Dirty, fat little middle finger. Just flips me off, bro. His name was Dustin. He's still up here. But, and I had to wait because I couldn't, I was too close to get around him at the fucking bridge. So he finished, he walked off, and I came on up the road. When I was a kid, you know, this is when it got great, by the way. If you're coming to town, if you're on your bike or your skateboard, you know, the hills were not too big and you could haul ass through here, and it was paved, which was nice. But, you know, I never even noticed those mountains. Like, everywhere you go in this town, there's beautiful scenery all around you. But because there was so much turmoil and shit going on in our family and with our lives and stuff, I never noticed it, man. I never ever noticed, like, you know, come here now, and I'm like, this place is stunning. There's, you know, incredible foliage, and this time of year in particular is beautiful. I never noticed the mountains, not one bit, when I lived here, because I was just, there was other shit going on, you know? Man, it's funny you keep mentioning that you have a camera. We went to a party in that house one night, and my homeboy had a camera, and he was just, I was like, what the fuck? He's just like, I just want to see what's up, you know, just like, you know, not every day. We'll look back on it in 20 years, it'll be fun, blah, blah, blah. So we go in there, and he immediately starts talking to this girl and hands me the camera. And he's like, hey, hold this. And so I'm just standing there kind of like shooting the room a little bit, not really saying anything to anybody. And there's this dude playing spades. He was like, yo, white boy with the camera. I go, talking to me, motherfucker? He went, goddamn right. What the fuck's that camera for? I just handed it to my friend. I go, it's for whatever the fuck I want it to be for. And he's just like, yo, you can't be up in here with no camera. Like, throws his cards down, pops up real quick. And I go, ain't my camera, motherfucker. Somebody just handed it to me. He goes, who handed it to you? I go, what fucking difference does it make? And he just started making his way for me, and I started making my way for him. And there was, you know, it was packed in that house. And my buddy Chris got in between us. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He started laughing. He's like, ain't gonna be none of that today. Everybody just chill. We'll put the camera in the car. I said, I ain't going back in that house. Fuck that motherfucker. I was pissed. So this is what we call the APTs right here, the apartments. It says Mountain View Apartments, but it was just the apartments when I was a kid. And when my parents divorced, and we were living in that first house I showed you, my granny's house, when they divorced, my old man kicked us out, and we moved up here. It's what they call Section 8. We had second floor right apartment right here. And my man Peanut and his family lived across the street. But, yeah, me and my brother and my mom in a one-bedroom apartment. I think it's one bedroom. So my brother and I got the room, and my mom slept on the couch. And it was dope, honestly, man, because unless my real dad came up here tearing shit up and raising hell, but if that wasn't going on, it was cool because there were so many kids up here. We'd kick it, and if you look at the woods over there, there was paths. You go up in the woods and just, you know, paths to go over to Kroger, paths to go up on the heights, paths to go everywhere. As time went on and I got older, things got a lot more rowdy up here, and people started, you know, it got more violent, drugs got involved. But when I was a little kid, it was the shit, man. I loved living up here. And that's where, you know, like I remember watching Michael Jackson's Thriller on TV when it first dropped up here. That's how fucking old I am. Listening to the Beastie Boys and finding Slick Rick and hip hop up here. And all these kids was into it. And we'd go in the basements, put down cardboard. My brother would break dance. Anyway, when I got older, when I was like 19, 20, my first wife lived up here with her son, and that was our apartment right there, the second window right there. So, you know, fucking 15 years later, I moved back up here. The rent went up $2. It was $26 a month. When I moved in there in 1997. Man, what I miss about this town a lot when I'm coming through is there used to be so many characters on the streets. Like, I just saw that fella and made me think about it. But look at this dude rapping to himself. Shit. There used to be so many. That's the dude who was taking a picture of the for rent side earlier. Yeah, you ain't getting that place, dog. If you walk around, if you're a regular 35-year-old man and it's 3:40 on a Wednesday and you walk around the streets rapping, you're not getting that apartment, dog. I'm just telling you right now, that shit ain't happening. I hate to break it to you.